Now, your Alaska Link weather for Fairbanks and the interior.
Well, as we continue into our mid-April forecast, it is remaining a bit more unsettled than where we've been. But when it comes down to impacts, it is remaining on the more minimal side, especially here in our local valley and just outside of some of our mountain ranges. We're dealing with more scattered precipitation as well as leading into more of this rain-snow mix. So it's making it a bit more difficult to show even the evidence of these waves of energy as the daytime can warm up and even help to dry surfaces out, but then we can pull into some rain showers, but also still find some spots where some morning snow showers are ongoing. Now for the range, this is where it is staying a little snowier. There's even some messaging here of some more difficult travel where we will see some communities even in those highest of elevations get upwards of a foot of snowfall. Now we're going to stay unsettled into early next week with multiple waves as we're monitoring a strong low to our south. So we're going to continue on really this continued conversation. May find some points where we get into some better drive of accumulation. Now in the Fairbanks area, we're expecting a cool Friday. Morning low 24 degrees and then only a high of 35. Again, that average high is working its way quickly here through those 40s. Now we'll note with the cooler environment, it could lead to us seeing a little bit better potential here in the coming days to deal with more of that snowfall. Now afternoon hours, especially with the sun angle, that can help to warm up even those the upper atmosphere down towards the surface and allow for us to see that changeover. So still we'll talk about some mixing spots, but we'll keep an eye on a little better push of where we're seeing some snowfall potential. But as we roll through the forecast, again, overall not seeing organized system move through our region. A lot of the active weather is from the south that leads to that moisture field extending across the interior. We will keep an eye on Saturday into Sunday towards our west. The western interior is going to get in on some action from that next low, and that will allow for some uptick in accumulation where we can note there a little better consistency of a range of at least that 1 to 3 inches. But as we look locally, this is where we have that divide of our higher elevations of the range working into those higher accumulations. But once you get into those valleys, we downslope out of that big accumulation, limiting to less than an inch. But we'll still note that between Fairbanks and then once we get into the White Mountains, there can be that point to get into accumulation. But we'll note that again, here's some of those communities falling underneath some winter headlines that for the Richardson Highway of some concerns for some difficult travel due to snow on wet pavement, creating some slippery conditions with refreezing overnight. We are just around about 15 and a half hours of daylight for a Friday. Again, a cool Friday expected. Generally, much of our 7-day is remaining on the cooler side, especially noting that as the active weather departs next week, we will get in on a colder tap. But for now, we'll continue to monitor areas of this precipitation through at least Tuesday.